Hey friends, welcome to Cedar First Kids Big City Studio Online. I'm super excited as we do our last lesson in our current series. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Katie introduce it.
Hey kids, welcome back to our series called Don't Worry About It, where we're learning how to quit worrying about things, trust God, and be filled with His peace. So, what is one thing that makes you the happiest? It could be sunshine and flowers, or going to parties, or playing with your friends, or sports. And all of those things are wonderful. And now, think about some things that make you sad. It could be when your feelings get hurt, or someone does something mean to you, or when your parents are fighting. And those things are sad. But you know what? Life is full of good times and bad times, and sometimes it can feel like there are more bad times and hard times than good. In our lesson today, we're going to learn that hard times just won't last forever, and there is a wonderful promise that reminds us of that. So let's learn or watch this video and learn some more.
It's me, India. Welcome back to our series, Don't Worry About It. Do you like lemons? Do you like to eat lemons? A lot of people don't. You know why? Because lemons are so sour. Ugh. Lemons are definitely sour, but they are a key ingredient to something I like. Lemonade. Do you like lemonade? On a hot summer day, when the sun is blazing down on you, you can get really uncomfortable and overheated. When that happens, there's nothing like a tall glass of lemonade to cool you down. Lemonade is cool and refreshing. Lemons are sour and not so refreshing. But have you ever heard the saying, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade? That's exactly what God does with the hard times in our life. It's true. The Bible teaches us in Psalm 126:5, those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. I know. You may be wondering, what does that even mean? It means, even though we have difficult days that bring worry and anxiety, God can turn our sadness into joy. In your lesson today, you're going to learn all about how God can turn your hard times into something to celebrate. I know it sounds impossible, but it's possible with Jesus. Through the story of the prodigal son, you're going to learn about a truly sad situation that turned into a joyous celebration. Well, until next time, I'm India reminding you, don't worry about it. See ya!
In this life, we may face hard times, but we don't have to live in the sadness of those hard times forever. God can turn it around for us. And we're going to learn about that promise today in our lesson. So let's learn our What You Gotta Know.
What you gotta know, what you gotta know. Time for Boudreaux, what you gotta know. What you gotta know, what you gotta know. Time for Boudreaux, what you gotta know.
Hey everybody, my name is Boudreaux. That's pronounced Boudreaux. And I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. Today, we're learning how that God can turn our sadness into joy. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them, even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. I'm gonna tell you right now, in this life, you're gonna have hard times. Oh no, you mean our watches and our clocks are gonna be all stiff and crusty? I hate hard times. Come on, man. You know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the difficult things happening in your life. It ain't gonna last forever, because God's gonna turn your sadness into joy. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. That's right. No matter what you're facing, Jesus will bring you joy. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them, even in my hard time, God can bring me joy. And that right there is what you gotta know. Well, I'm Boudreaux from the Bayou saying, bye-bye you.
Okay, boys and girls, stand to your feet. We're going to try it like this. It goes like this. Even in my hard times, get kind of a frustrated face. Even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. And smile really big. All right, let's try it together. Hey, everybody, what you got to know? Even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. All right, girls, what you got to know? Even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. Good job, girls. Hey, boys, what you got to know? Even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. Great job, everybody.
All right, friends, what you gotta know? Even in my hard times, God can bring me joy. Good job. I love
Excuse me.
those smiles.
Look me in the eye and tell me this.
Okay.
I have been so sad lately. Things have been so hard. Will it ever end? Will
Okay.
these hard times ever end?
Okay, whoa, anxious Amanda. Take some deep breaths, relax, then calmly explain what is going on because I am here to help you.
Okay,
Okay,
there.
good job.
Whoosh! I can see color again. Wow, thank you.
You're welcome, but you couldn't see color? Okay, that is a bit concerning, don't you think?
No. It happens all the time. My real issue is that I just don't have the joy like I used to back in the good old days, you know? My worrywart has me feeling so sad. With all the worrisome problems, it keeps on reminding me every 2 seconds.
Oh, I am really sorry because that does sound hard. But you know what? We all have hard times, but there's some good news. And I can share it with you if you want.
Yes,
Okay.
please tell me, because this worrywart has me sadder than a slice of pumpkin pie without any whipped cream or cinnamon sugar. I'm just a sad slice of pie.
Oh yes, you sure seem really sad, Amanda. But even though hard times come, and they will for everyone, I can tell you that hard times do not last forever.
They won't?
No.
Are you sure? How do you know?
Absolutely positive.
Don't mess with me like my worrywart does.
You know what? I would never mess with you like that. I am positive that it doesn't and won't last forever. The Bible shows us that God will take our sadness and turn it into joy.
Well, that's great news. I'm glad you told me that. Things were about to get dangerous. My worrywart told me that I was supposed to get joy by climbing a mountain and doing yoga with a rabbit and a goat.
Well, I've heard of that, but your worrywart has some really weird ideas. How would doing yoga with a rabbit and a goat on a top of a mountain bring you joy?
It's pretty obvious.
Not
If you
really.
survive the climb
Well,
and the
that's
goat doesn't, ram you with its horns,
That's true.
or the rabbit doesn't die, then I'd be feeling joyful, Wouldn't you?
Okay, first of all, please never ever do that. And don't listen to anything that your worrywart says.
Shh.
Okay, I'm sorry, was I too loud?
Oh, no, it's okay.
All right.
I was telling my worrywart to shh.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it was telling me that I should take some sour candy on my next hike. The problem is, I happen to know critters really like sour candy. And I think my worrywart was trying to set me up. Not funny at all.
It really isn't. And you know what? I think it's just another reason not to listen to that worrywart of yours. Don't you agree?
Agreed. You are 100% correct.
Good.
As a matter of fact, you could not be more right, and I am with you all the way. You are a genius.
Why, thank you. That's very kind of you to say, but it's really not necessary to give me all those accolades. I do have my moments though.
Oh, I was actually talking to my worrywart.
Oh.
It mentioned I should go take all the candy out of my camp trailer because maybe the ants would go away. Bye, everyone. Remember, hard times won't last forever because God can turn sadness into joy.
And that's right. See you. Careful with those ants and everything else. Bye.
Hi, friends! Every superhero has to face a supervillain. It's no different for many Bible heroes. Many of them had to overcome some pretty tough villains. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 4 Bible heroes and the villains they had to face. After you meet all of them, I'll bring some of them back one at a time, and you'll have to shout out which hero or villain goes with that person. Sound good? All right, let's meet our first group. Our first hero is Moses. God called Moses to lead his people out of Egypt, but Pharaoh stood in his way. In the end, Moses stayed faithful to God, and Pharaoh learned the hard way that no one can defeat God. Our next hero is Samson. God had given Samson special strength to protect Israel from their enemies, but Delilah deceived Samson into giving away the secret of his strength. Our third hero is David. David may be one of the most famous heroes in the Bible, because with God's help, he defeated one of the most famous villains, the giant Goliath. Our last hero is actually a heroine. Queen Esther risked her life to save her people, the Jews. She went to the king and exposed the evil plans of Haman, who had planned to destroy the Jewish people. All right, now let's see if you can remember everyone you just met. Which hero defeated Goliath? If you said David, you're correct. Nice work. Which villain did Samson face? If you said Delilah, you're correct. Great memory. Let's try another. Which villain did Esther defeat? If you said Haman, you're correct. Wow, very impressive. Let's try one more. Which hero did Pharaoh go up against? If you said Moses, you're correct. Wow, you all have some super memory skills. Great job!
Good morning, boys and girls. Today's Bible story is found in the book of Luke, chapter 15. It's a story that Jesus told to help people understand how much God loves them. See, there was this father. He had 2 sons, and one of the sons, the younger, approached his dad one day and said, "Give me my share of my inheritance." His son had decided that he would be better off on his own with no rules, no boundaries, no bedtime, no chores, no responsibility whatsoever. He thought he would have an amazing life of fun and no worries. On the outside, that sounds pretty good, but let's see what happens. The father gave his son what he'd asked for. The son left his house and went out to live on his own. He started partying and drinking and living a sinful lifestyle. He thought he had lots of friends, but most of those friends were only hanging out with him because he had lots of money. Remember, he had gotten all kinds of money from his dad for his inheritance, and his friends were taking advantage of him. But it wasn't long before the boy had wasted all of his money on wild and sinful living. He ended up with no money at all. In fact, he didn't have enough money to buy anything to eat. He couldn't get a job. He couldn't feed himself. He had no place to live. And the only job that he could get was feeding pigs. Can you imagine sloshing around all the time in the mud with a bunch of smelly pigs? Yuck. No fun. It was the worst job you can imagine, but he was so hungry that he didn't even think that the food that the pigs had looked half bad. He was so hungry he thought, I'm going to eat what the pigs are eating. Anyway, the son looked around at the situation he had gotten himself into, and he realized that the pigs were living better than he was. Imagine that. He said to himself, my father's servants live better than this. I'll return home and I'll throw myself at my father's feet and beg him for forgiveness and ask him to take me back as a hired servant. He said, even that would be better than what I'm doing now. I imagine he thought that his father was going to be angry at him. He probably expected a long lecture. Have you ever had a lecture from your mom and dad? Yeah, that's what he thought was coming. But that's not what happened at all. In fact, while the boy was out living on his own, his father was very, very sad that he was gone. Every day, the father looked out on the road to see if that was the day that his son would return home to him. Finally, the day came when the son decided to return home and beg for forgiveness. As he approached his father's house, his father saw him coming and ran out to meet him. He threw his arms around him and hugged him and kissed him and threw a huge party for him to celebrate that he had come home. He said, "My son was lost, but now he is found." This story is a great reminder that like the father was sad for a long time, we will experience sadness in life. However, like the father's sadness came to an end when his son came home, your sadness and hard times will come to an end as well, because God will turn your sadness into joy. You'll learn more about this in your lesson, so listen closely.
Oh, well, hey there, boys and girls. It's your old buddy Kent. Kent, hear ya. I'm 921 years old, so I'm just a little bit hard of hearing. I need you to help me today, but before I get to that, I'm going to teach you today's power verse. Today's power verse says, "Those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy." Psalm 126:5. Well, that was a wonderful power verse, wasn't it? I tell you what I need you to do. I need you to help me say it. So I want you to stand up. There you go, stand up, and you're going to say it with me loud. Remember, I'm hard of hearing. Say it with me loud so we can get my loudometer all the way up to 10. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. Oh, that was pretty good. It was pretty good, but I still can't hear you. Get it? I want you to do it again, and this time we're going to get the loudometer all the way to 10. Say it loud. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. Great job on the power verse. You may have a seat. Well, I tell you what, I've got to go pick up my nephew Barry from his karate lesson, or was it grad school? I'm really not sure, but I'm going to have to leave, so until next time, I can't hear you, but I'll see you later.
Friends, have you ever had a really bad day? I'm not talking about a sort of bad day or a kind of bad day. I'm not even talking about a pretty bad day. I'm talking about a really, really, really bad day. You wake up thinking it's Saturday and your mom tells you it's time to go to school and it's only Monday. Or you stub your toe on the way out of bed to get dressed and all that's clean is that old scratchy sweater your aunt knitted for you and it's just a little bit too small. And then your favorite cereal box is empty and you're stuck eating your grandma's favorite, somebody calls it crusty, weedy oat bran. Yuck. And then you get to school and you realize you forgot your homework assignment at home, the one you spent hours working on the night before, and now you're going to get an F. And then you get to lunch and you find out it's meatloaf and broccoli day. Ew. And then you get home and you miss your favorite TV show because your teacher gave you tons of homework. And you don't like dinner and your sister keeps kicking you under the table but doesn't get in trouble for it. And you have to go to bed early as punishment for your bad grade. And you can't fall asleep because it sounds like the rest of your family is having the best time ever in the other room. All you can think about is how it's been the worst day ever. And it just makes you super, sad. That's a really bad day, you guys. And we've all had days like that where it seems like from the very minute you wake up that everything went wrong. In fact, sometimes we go through seasons full of hard days like that. Now today, we're going to learn about facing hard days and the sadness that comes along with them. So here's the first thing that we need to know. Some days are hard. Some days are like the one that I just described. A whole lot of little things just go wrong, and they add up to be a really hard day. Now, other times, it's something really serious that makes you super sad, and you have a hard day or a lot of hard days in a row because you're dealing with something really, really tough. Maybe your grandpa is sick and you're really afraid that he might not make it, or your dog ran away and you're not sure if she'll ever be found and come home again, or your parents are fighting and you wonder if they're going to end up getting a divorce, or maybe your grades are no good and you can't seem to catch up with the other kids, or your best friend has turned her back on you. You know what? The truth is, you guys, whether it's a lot of small things or one really big thing or even a lot of big things that make you sad, some days are just really hard. And that is just part of life. But I have good news for you. Hard times won't last forever. You know, I know it seems like the things might be very hopeless and that it's going to keep going on and on and on. It may seem like these bad days will never end. It may seem like every day is going to be a bad day from here on out because of the hard things you are facing. But guess what? Hard times won't last forever. Our power verse today says, "Those who plant in tears will harvest in shouts of joy." Psalm 126:5. You know what that means? It means that when you plant or pray and ask God through your tears or your hard times, He will give you a harvest or a blessing of joy. When you are sad and going through hard times and you ask God for help, He will help you. God can turn your sadness into joy. When you're faced with hard times, God can take your sadness and turn it into joy. Now, when it seems like I have this thing today, it's called a change bag, and I'm going to use it to show you a little illustration. You know, it may seem like your life is too full of sadness and hard times never end, and that you may never see joy. It may seem like your grandpa will never be healed, or it may look like your parents will never stop fighting, and it may look like your grades will only get worse on your report card. It may seem like all these bad things, that there will only be hard times from this moment on. But do you know what, guys? The good news is, I have really good news. Joy will come. Those things will last, and you will have joy again. I promise you. God is stronger and bigger and more powerful than any hard time you can face. Hard times won't last forever because God can turn sadness into joy. All you have to do is ask God for help, and He will bring blessings and with shouts of joy. Boys and girls, if you're struggling with hard times right now, I would like to pray with you. And if you're not, I know that there's some times in your life when you will have a hard time. So I'd like to pray with you as well. So, Lord God, I thank you that even though we are sad and discouraged, and maybe we're very down about something, we know that we can come to you and you will turn our sadness into joy. Lord, help us through our hard times and remind us that those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. We love you, Jesus. We thank you that you are always with us and you will never leave us. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen, guys. I love you, and I will see you next week.